Headed live from the Loft 100 studios in sunny San Diego, California. Big Biz Show's on the air. Great to have you along today. Sully here, Costa there, the TTC.
The quad.
Have you back.
The qua.
Watch this. Just like that. No one.
Wow.
I'm your hook. Does anybody see the similarity between Mike Costa and his new facial hair and, of course, Val Kilmer in Tombstone?
Oh my God. Oh my.
Wow, Michael, you're wearing a bustle. Yeah, look at that. And I will tell you, he takes this seriously because we did a little pre-roll before the show. He didn't realize that we were rolling tape in this. But let me tell you how serious Mike takes his new facial hair. Here we go. If we can roll that, Jared, if you have it.
Sure, yeah, why not?
You don't have it? Not ready to roll yet. Well, we'll roll it during the show.
No, you can lose it.
No. It was very good. It was much of this.
Yeah, I find myself doing this a lot with it now.
What caused that?
Well, I had the full beard and stuff, and then
Ish.
I figured, and then I just little change, and then I figured I'll go for a little Van Dyke action.
Is that what that's called?
I believe so.
I think it's called a Colonel Sanders, if I'm not mistaken.
Or Colonel Sanders, could be.
It's 5 years from now. That's going to look close. I think you got to keep
When it goes fully white.
Rusty Nails made a hell of a living impersonating Will Ferrell. I think you got the Colonel.
Probably.
And Will Ferrell.
I think you can find chunks of fried chicken in it right now.
That's excellent. Very good. Hey, great to have you along today. 110 million broadcast television homes every weeknight, as well as 150 radio stations. That's right, we're on TV and radio. Going on our 26th year on radio, and I think we're going on our 15th or 16th year on television. But one of the greatest things that I get to do, or we get to do here, is interview suggestions from our national television audience as well as our radio audience, whether it be a celebrity or an author or Mike's parents or whoever we can get on the show. We heard from a shareholder from a company called Context Therapeutics. Context Therapeutics. You can go to their website, contexttherapeutics.com. They are publicly traded under the stock symbol CNTX. And I'll tell you how important I am. I got the CEO, Martin Lehr, CEO and co-founder, on air with us via Zoom. Martin, how are you, sir? Great to talk to you.
Fantastic. Thanks for having me.
Hey, let's talk about what you guys are involved in, because I don't think we've ever spoken to anybody that's involved in hormone-driven female cancers, and I think there's probably a layman's term for that. But let's let you take it over because this is some interesting stuff and it's an important topic.
Yeah, no, appreciate you having me, Sully. Mike, nice to meet via Zoom. Context Therapeutics is a publicly traded women's oncology company. We're traded on the NASDAQ, so I want to put out that disclaimer as we start. But we're focused on women's oncology because it's an area of huge medical unmet need. So when you think about women's oncology, you think about breast, ovarian, endometrial cancer. So these are cancers of the female reproductive organs. They are diagnosed in hundreds of thousands of women per year. Breast cancer is 250,000 women diagnosed per year in the US alone. And for a small percentage of these patients, the disease after primary surgery is not well addressed, and the disease comes back in the form of metastatic cancer. And that's really where Context comes into play. For these women, the cancers come back because for the majority of them, the hormones estrogen and progesterone drive the growth of these cancers. So that's why you mentioned hormone-driven disease. So these are the hormones, much like testosterone is associated with prostate cancer. So estrogen, progesterone, kind of think about it as being bad for these cancers in women. And so we're developing drugs to address these cancers, in particular metastatic disease.
The first thing that comes to mind here is addressable market. You touched on that for a minute. Talk about that and where you guys are in the story with the FDA, because I think people are going to hear this interview and they're going to have people that are 1 degree of separation away from someone suffering from this. And you're going to want to know, how do I get my hands on this drug and what does the drug do?
Yeah, so for me, this is very personal. I've spent my career in oncology, first as a bench researcher, then at a venture capital fund investing in predominantly oncology companies, and now Context. Breast and ovarian cancer run in my family. My mother and grandmother are both breast cancer survivors. But unfortunately, multiple individuals in my family were not survivors and died too early of those diseases. So for Context, we're really mission driven, trying to advance medicines that will prolong the lives of patients who have these devastating diseases, and then also give them a really high quality of life. These cancers, in some cases, cancers are better addressed than they've ever been. Patients are living longer. But the reality is, particularly in the US, we have an aging population. We have a population that has significant comorbidities that are associated with cancer, such as obesity and diabetes and other inflammatory disorders. And so even though we're doing a better job of treating these cancers, the actual number of patients who have these cancers is either unchanged, or in the case of endometrial cancer, which is cancer of the uterus, it's actually growing. And so this is a patient population where, again, hundreds of thousands are diagnosed per year with an initial diagnosis. And then about 100,000 women die each year of these cancers. And so what we want to do, again, is develop drugs that can extend the lives of these women and really give them a high quality of life, so that they're not losing their hair and they're unable to see their grandkids, et cetera. We want them to live great lives.
Martin, I just lost somebody close to me to ovarian cancer. Where does early detection, where does that play a role in all of this?
It's so hard, and I'm sorry for your loss, and I've lost family members with ovarian cancer as well. Ovarian is one of those really tricky cancers. It's often diagnosed very, very late, for the reason being that there's a lot of room in our abdomens. You can sort of see by pushing on your belly, things move around. And so these tumors can grow without someone knowing for a very long period of time. And so it's only when symptoms emerge, such as trouble urinating or bleeding, that often they're diagnosed, or by happenstance when a patient's seeing their gynecologist or primary care physician, that they're diagnosed. So what is often recommended is that patients keep up with these doctor's visits on regular intervals. I know it's very hard for people. We live crazy lives, and in the case of COVID, in some cases it was impractical or impossible to see your doctor. But being vigilant about seeing doctors, even though it can be scary, is what's recommended.
Hey, Martin, a little bit out of time here. We want to have you back because it's really interesting stuff. And I have to ask you real quickly before I let you out of here in about 30 seconds. Where are you at on that FDA scale of your story? Where are we getting close here?
We're absolutely getting closer. As you know, though, it's a long road.
Yeah.
And there's reasons for that. You want to make sure your drug works well, and is safe for patients. So our most advanced program is an oral drug. It's a progesterone receptor blocker, and that's in phase 2 development. There's been 150 patients.
I want you back on air. This is really important stuff. We've never talked about it before. Martin Lehr.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, pal. Appreciate it. He did mention, Mike, about abdominal area. Got a lot of stuff moving around there.
That hit home.
Not sure if that was a dog whistle for you, pal, but maybe maybe you should start boxing. Big Biz Show, BigBizShow.com. See you soon.